Because when the times are good, you want to go over these conversations that when times are bad, you already have this built-in beautiful foundation of communication that then carries itself so well.
Is that why you were able to, or how you were able to deal with your daughter being diagnosed with leukemia? Because you mentioned that earlier. It seems like that's something that's very traumatizing for a family.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to tell you this. You know?
Yeah, I mean, no, it is traumatizing, but I think what helped us with it is all these years of overcoming adversity. So you go to the CrossFit Games, you get your butt kicked, but your wife would always also get her butt kicked because you're getting your butt kicked, right? Like she feels what I feel only from like an outsider's perspective looking in. And so she had to learn to overcome that, and so did I through communication with each other. Well, when Ava got sick, it was a really great test of all these years of competing, learning how to overcome these challenges through communication, through whatever. Then we transferred those skills, which these skills were built in like a very look, if you win or lose the CrossFit Games, it's a competition. There's money on the line, sure, but it's not life and death. It is what it is. But when you talk about this challenge in the hospital, the stakes are significantly higher. And so I'm so grateful for the competition experience because it taught my wife and I how to work together. And when we had to come against adversity, it was great to see the way we both reacted to it. I think the biggest takeaway, there was a few takeaways from the whole, so she went through treatment for 2.5 years. We spent months in the hospital, ICU, you name it, right? I think the major takeaways, like if you could summarize like these 2.5 years in like a few things, is that you should do everything in your power today to build a hedge financially, emotionally, and physically so that if something does take you out of your loop, you're best prepared to attack it. And that's what the book is about how do you have good communication, develop these skills where you're present and focused with your loved ones to have a really strong relationship so that when it gets tested, you're in the best position to be successful. How do you stay focused on work so that you can build up a business or work hard so you become such a good employee that your work will be supportive if something happens to you? And then finally, how can you improve your fitness to a point where if you can't work out for months, you're still okay? Mm-hmm. And so I think that was one big takeaway from being in the hospital so much is that we had done a good job of developing this so that when this news did come, we were able to focus on one thing and one thing only, which was getting her better. I also think that through that, we recognized the importance of family, right? That the family support, allowing my wife and I to go out for date nights during that time, and like family becomes even more and more important to me. And I think that anybody who doesn't at least work to try and create a relationship with their family should maybe try a little bit more because those are the people that are going to have your back when it happens. And then finally, I think the biggest thing that it taught us was that, the world could be the world has a lot of different challenges for a lot of different people. And I think at the time, we think that whatever is happening in our day is like the biggest problem in the world. But I think we need to have a little bit more perspective that there's a lot of people going through much worse. And we need to be grateful for what we have and focus on the positive things and not just the negative. Mm-hmm. And I think we learned that skill in the hospital. Like today has been a good day because we only had 3 pokes today instead of 20, or she didn't get put to sleep today, so today is a good day, because it's all perspective. And I think people could take that into their daily lives, that maybe they run out of gas, but at the end of the day they have a car, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's just the frame of mind.
So is this just an exercise at looking at the positive? Because I would imagine you were pretty upset, your wife was probably pretty scared and upset, but you can't really show that in front of your daughter who's like 5, or how old was she?
4.5.
4.5. So yeah, you can't really be like, we're really sad because this is really serious.
Yeah, there is no sadness. It was just, I mean, like I mentioned in the book, like the first night that it was diagnosed, Ashley just said, hey, look, you go tell the family this is what's going on. But from this day forward, like when people walk into the room, there's gonna be nothing but positivity, because we believe that positivity breeded positivity, and we wanted that surrounding her. And so if you're having dark times, you can go have that to yourself, but just outside the room.
Right.
And that was tough for us, right? There was a lot of, challenging moments, but I think we stuck true to that for the whole time, which I think was really powerful.
Did she not know what was going on because you guys were so positive about it, or did she have an idea?
Well, we got to determine how we distribute that information. So there was a lot of great books. So the night she was diagnosed, I read everything I could find. I mean, as much as I could. And I continue to read, but there was a lot of great books about losing hair, about, what leukemia is and stuff like that. But you say it in such a way where, like, when you're a kid, I mean, imagine when you first found out what the word, whatever a word is, your parents got to define how that word was perceived, right? You didn't have any other perspective on it. So we decided how we wanted to explain what it was, and I think it made it more accessible for her.
That makes sense. Okay. I'm curious about that because I don't think many people have an inside look at this. And certainly people who don't understand that this had an effect on your relationship and sort of made you in a way who you are today, I would imagine.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it sort of defines who you are as a parent, which has a heavy influence in how you run your business.
Yeah, I mean, everything changed that night. I mean, really, I remember on social media, I put up this post that said, like, life changed. I think at the time, like, it was like 2 a.m, I was crying. It was a really heavy post. But I didn't really realize at the time, like, it would change my life. Not because, like, we got through this, right? But just my mental outlook on life and the way I want to approach things and the way I want to help people and my bigger vision for why I want to work and why I want to do these things, that all changed. And that was really cool. I don't wish our experience on anybody, not even my worst enemy, but I'm glad we went through it as a family because it made us a lot closer.